Hey guys, welcome back to some more videos. The Explorer of Horror here, the Horror Boy. Welcome back, and I've wanted to make this video for a long time now because I absolutely love slasher films. Slasher films are some of my favorite horror films to watch. Why? Because they're so fun to watch. I mean, you've got usually a very awesome cast, usually, of really quirky characters, the 80s teen characters. The fun stuff, like you get a lot of nudity, a lot of blood and gore. You get to see different kills and how they do the kills and practical effects wise, like how they pull certain effects off. The designs of the killers, the various killers we've gotten over the years. I am absolutely in love with slasher films, and I've never done this before in my entire life, make a top list about slasher films, which is surprising to me because, you know, I'm a huge fan of slasher movies. These are just some of my favorite horror films to watch. If you're not a fan of slasher movies, I can't say I can't say that I don't absolutely know why you would say that, because they're not for everyone. They're a very repetitive formula, and if you didn't like slasher movies, I can definitely see why. You know, it's not like I'm going, oh my god, I can't see why you wouldn't like slasher movies. No, I can understand. It's like a certain formula, and it gets done a lot. So I can understand people don't like slasher films so much nowadays, you know. But I personally love slasher films, and today I want to do my top 10 favorite slasher films. There were a few that didn't make it to the list that I want to mention. First of all, The Prowler. I'm a really big fan of The Prowler. I really enjoy that movie. It didn't make it to the list. Intruder would have made it to the list. It was literally number 11, so imaginary number 11 would be Intruder. I love Intruder. It's a great slasher film, but unfortunately it didn't make it to the top 10, but it was very close. I still love that movie, though. Another thing I want to mention is this movie will not be showing up in this video, mainly because I talk about it constantly. It's in a lot of my top lists, mainly because it's just one of my favorite films, but yeah, I'm going to give this one a rest. I am going to mention another Friday the 13th video, or movie, in this video. But it won't be part 5. It'll be my second favorite of the series, but it'll be in this top 10 list because I love it about as much as part 5. But I wanted to disclude part 5 because I always put it in the lists. So, I'm being generous. There is no part 5 in this video. I think that's about it. So these are ranked from the 10 being my least favorite of the favorites. That's so hard to say, but still one of my favorites. And then number 1 is my favorite slasher film to me, what I think is the perfect quality slasher film in my opinion. So we're going from 10 to 1, top 10 favorite slasher films. Thank you guys so much for watching, and let's get into it. Number 10 is going to be a very surprising entry for most people because it is a newer film, but I absolutely love this film. Didn't see the sequel to it. I know it also has a third movie coming out, but to me this is the best slasher from the 2000s, and that is The Collector. Number 10 is The Collector. Why is it in my top 10 favorites? Because I love everything about it. You take the Saw formula and you make it a slasher film. I love Saw, I love slashers. You put them together, you get a wonderful blend to make a very unique slasher film. And I love everything about this movie. I think it's got a great lead character, a character that you can get behind. Yeah, technically speaking, he's a thief, but you feel bad for him. You don't hate this character. You feel bad for him because he's doing it for the right, I guess you could say he's doing it because he has no choice. It ain't the right decision to do, but he's not doing it to be just this criminal jerk guy. You feel bad for him. He's got the end of he's at the bottom of the barrel as far as life goes, and he's just trying to make some money to help support his family. And in this case, he's at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it becomes this cat and mouse game. I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen Collector. Haven't done a review on it yet, mainly because I haven't seen the other one. I want to do like a franchise review on these, but if you haven't seen Collector yet, you're really missing out, man. It's great. It's got everything a Saw fan would want and everything a slasher film fan would want. So, number 10 for me is The Collector. I love the way it's filmed. I love the music. The killer is awesome. The mask for the killer is pretty cool. I love the traps aspect and how this guy is trying to save this family. The lead character is a good guy. He's trying to do the right thing. And, I really love this movie, The Collector. It's great. Number 10 is The Collector. My 10th favorite slasher film of all time. Number 9 is Child's Play 2. Now, I love the rest of the series as far as like the first one goes. I love part 3. I like part 4. Curse of Chucky, I love the remake, but the rest I don't really like. So like Seed, Cult. I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Curse. It's just a meh kind of movie for me. It's there. But my favorite of the sequels, because my favorite is the first one, my favorite of the sequels is probably Child's Play 2. And it's one of my favorite slasher films of all time, mainly because I think it's directed very well. It's got a great third act in the Toy Factory. I really love that third act. I think Chucky has a very unique design in the movie. The kills are awesome. The animatronics on Chucky, probably the best animatronics on Chucky is in Child's Play 2. It looks phenomenal. And the way that Chucky's face looks is creepy. There are certain scenes that I really enjoy, dialogue that I really enjoy. Bang, you're dead. And he realizes a squirt gun. Or, did you miss me, Andy? I sure missed you. Or, how's it hanging, Phil? And then drops him on his neck. It's got everything a slasher fan would want. It's got atmosphere, suspense, an awesome killer, some great lines. You've got classic scenes. The ending is very brutal where they blow up Chucky into a million pieces. So my number 9 is Child's Play 2. I love Child's Play 2. Huge fan of that movie. Number 8 for me is the best of the sequels for this franchise. It used to be my favorite film of the franchise, but the first one is definitely the masterpiece. But this is still a masterpiece of a sequel. Number 8 is Halloween 2, More of the Night He Came Home. This movie, I would say, is a bit underrated. A bit. It does get a lot of hate nowadays. I don't understand it. I think it's a perfect sequel. Has a few flaws here and there. Like, it does try to homage the first movie quite a bit. The mask is a brown mask with the brown hair, light blondish brown hair. I did not care for the mask. Personally, did not care for Dick Warlock as Michael Myers. Just really, really stiff performance and just seemed small. Like, to be honest, didn't seem like this intimidating force. He seemed like just like the H2O guy who played them. Great actors, legends at their fields. I love both actors. They're great guys. Not their fault. It's just, to me, as far as the shape goes, they don't really portray it. It's not them portraying it. I don't know if it was just a miscast. I don't know. Just personally for me, I'm not a big fan of Dick Warlock as Michael Myers. But he did try his best. I will give him that. Laurie Strode, she could have done more in this movie. A lot of it is just her very mute, not talking a lot, just kind of walking around. The wig is pretty noticeable. But besides all those little things, I love everything else about this movie. I love the way it's filmed. I love the atmosphere, the music. The music is phenomenal. One of my favorite 80s soundtracks to a slasher film is in this movie. And whereas the first movie, I don't really consider it to be a slasher movie because there's 4 deaths in that movie and they're all kind of tame. This one is a total slasher film. This one, you're getting some really intense deaths. You're getting needles through eyes, needles through right here, the side of the head, claw hammers to the top of the head, people getting scalpels stabbed into them. The kills are very brutal. Michael Myers is pretty badass in this movie. We're just walking right through doors. I love the lighting, the moody atmosphere, the October feel. One of my favorite shots in all of horror is where Michael Myers, you hear this radio report that Laurie Strode is in this hospital and this kid's walking by this boombox. And as soon as it says Laurie Strode is in this hospital, Michael Myers just appears out of nowhere and the music kicks in. And that shot gave me goosebumps as a kid when I seen that. Michael Myers downtown. It's Halloween, so nobody recognizes Michael Myers as Halloween still. And he's just walking on the sidewalk, and people are walking right next to him, and the music builds up until he walks around the corner. One of my favorite shots in all of horror. The hospital atmosphere I loved. Yes, another nitpick you could say is it's the most emptiest hospital in the world. But this very moody hospital, very dimly lit, had a great dark atmosphere to it. Has a great October Halloween feel to it. Like I said, the music is on point. Rick Rosenthal's direction is wonderful in this movie. A lot of POV shots I really thought were cool. Overall, Halloween 2 is my favorite of the sequels. It's one hell of a sequel and one hell of a slasher movie. So number 8 is Halloween 2. More of the night he came home. I love that tagline. Number 7 is The Burning. Love The Burning. This is a great classic slasher film from 81, I believe. This Scream Factory release is decent. Has a commentary, has some featurettes here and there. Could have been a little bit more as far as features go. As far as restoration goes, the picture and audio quality look pretty fantastic. And it's probably up there with Friday the 13th as being one of my favorite camp slasher films. I love the camp atmosphere. You have a lot of actors in this movie who had gone to have pretty big careers after this. And it started in this movie, and the characters are very likable. You get different personalities. The pacing isn't too bad. I love the idea of Cropsey, classic killer. And of course, look at that badass cover. Scream Factory really did a great job with that cover. Also the original cover as well, but that is badass. The River of Blood, of course, the raft scene. Which, for you guys who've seen the movie, the raft scene where people are getting their fingers cut off, and you got Tom Savini special effects in this movie. It's wonderful. A lot of these effects still hold up to this day and look absolutely breathtaking. I absolutely love this movie, The Burning. The camp atmosphere, the music, the mystery aspect, the scene where you get to see the killer's face, the burned face. I love the lore. I love the hedge clipper weapons. I mean, what more can I say? The Burning is classic. So number 7 is The Burning. Number 6 is a film that sadly I don't own. I know there's an Arrow Blu-ray of this movie, which hopefully one day I can pick up, because this absolutely surprised me, this slasher film. A little while ago, around Thanksgiving, me and John did we did like a stream talking about a couple movies. One was Big Fat Ethel, which is a really fun slasher film from the 70s. Shout out to John Grande. He's great. He's a great friend of mine, has great content. Me and him did a really fun stream talking about that, and Blood Rage, which is number 6 for me. And when I was watching Big Fat Ethel, it was such a fun watch. It was a short movie. It's hilarious. You guys haven't seen Big Fat Ethel yet, go watch it. Maybe around November I'll give my solo review of it, but it's great. But when I watched Blood Rage, I was blown away. This is one of it is obviously one of the best because it's in my top 10, but it is just such a well-made film. The atmosphere is great. The characters are pretty interesting. The way they did the formula in this movie, I don't want to spoil too much, but I thought it was very clever how they handled the slasher in this movie. And I just love the gore. It's a very gory film, very bloody film. I must say, its effects like it was done by Tom Savini. That's how convincing the gore is. But I don't think it was. But there's just certain death scenes I like. It's a very brutal movie. Got people getting cut in half, like literally in half. And you're seeing them crawl away and the intros falling out. It's really bloody. You know, you also have, I want to say you get an axe to the face. You get a lot of machete death scenes. It's great. Blood Rage is fantastic. I love the music. The poster's badass. The killer's awesome. The twin aspect, which if you guys see the movie, you guys know what I'm talking about. I love that. I love the atmosphere and the way it's filmed. The acting is on point. The characters are on point. It's a very fast-paced movie. Blood Rage is one hell of a badass slasher film. So, for me, number 6 is Blood Rage. Number 5 is we're going to be getting into the Friday the 13th film I was talking about. Now, Part 5 didn't make it to this list, but this one did. Friday the 13th, Part 2. The Body Count continues. My second favorite Friday the 13th movie. This one also is classic. I mean, Part 1 is classic too, but Part 2 is up there with Part 5 for me. Again, I love everything about this movie. The ending is a little weird. Yeah, where did Paul go? Was it all a dream? Was it not? This dog was dead. Now it's alive again. Like, the ending is very confusing. But, of course, this is the first movie that has Potato Sack Jason. Or just Jason in general, but it has Potato Sack Jason, which that's my favorite Jason design right there. Just very creepy. I know it's kind of an homage to the Town Dread Sundown, which I seen the remake to that, which was pretty decent. But yeah, I love the kills in this movie. You have a guy getting his throat slit by a machete upside down. Probably the standout one is the machete right to the face. This guy in a wheelchair gets a machete right in the face. And he rolls down the steps behind him and it fades out. I love that. But it's a well-made movie. Steve Miner is one of my favorite directors of all time. I love Steve Miner's work. His atmospheres and direction in this movie was done very well, and as well as in Part 3. The musical score I thought was cool. I love the main theme for Part 2. Dun 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 dun. The opening credits was awesome with the explosion in Part 2. Amy Steele is one of my favorite leads in a horror film. Amy Steele, I love her as the lead. I guess another problem I can say is the beginning they kill off Adrian King. That is a little bit of a problem for me. I wish it didn't happen, but kills are awesome. Jason is awesome. My favorite design for Jason is the sackhead Jason. It's creepy. When you see Jason's face, it looks pretty cool. The kills are on point, and overall, I love Friday the 13th, Part 2. The Body Count continues. A lot of great taglines for these movies. Number 4 is a very well-done slasher film, My Bloody Valentine. Oh yeah, I love this movie. This is awesome, man. Pure awesomeness. I love, even if it had the twist be different, like even if it was just the actual killer was the guy who's in this movie, Henry or Harry Warden. I love the backstory, the characters. It's a Canadian slasher. I think it has wonderful gore effects, and the good thing about this DVD and the newer Blu-ray, which one day I might get it on Blu-ray, but this DVD is pretty good. It actually has the original gore put back into the movie. So you're seeing a pickaxe go through this guy's face, and his eyeballs on the pickaxe, and you have a drill get shot right into a guy's head. A person falls, and they have like hooks and stuff through them. A scene where a guy's body just falls down to the bottom of this thing. It's just gory and bloody. I love the Valentine's Day aspect. That was very unique. The look of the killer with the mining outfit. It's got pretty funny characters, interesting characters that I thought were not one-dimensional. The pacing is pretty good. The ending is pretty haunting with that, they're never gonna get us, ha 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 ha. And I love that ending theme song, Once every year, as the 14th draws near, as a horror that rushed through the town. Whatever the lyrics are. I love that. I love the poster. I love this movie. I'm not a big fan of the remake. The remake, for me, I'm not a fan of, because it was just another generic... It was just overall a generic horror film. Really, really generic. But this is really, really good. I love this movie. It's My Bloody Valentine. That was number 4. Number 3 and number 2, sadly, I don't own on DVD. But my number 3 is Sleepaway Camp. Not 1, not 3, not even 4, because you know part 4 is classic. My favorite Sleepaway Camp movie is Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. I remember watching this movie, and I did not even know Sleepaway Camp had sequels. I didn't know this at all. This was completely new to me. So, when my friend John Grande, he's a big fan of part 2 and 3, he said there's sequels. And I'm like, how many? Technically there's 4. There's 2, 3, 4, and then there's Return of the Sleepaway Camp. And I was like, wow, there's sequels. Let me give them a watch. And part 2 is so awesome. Why? Because it's so over the top. It's so fun. The gore is insane. You have the Angela character being a lot more just happy and cheerful, and she's talking to people, and she's like, I used to be really quiet, but now I can't. You can't get me to shut up. Pamela Springsteen is a legend. I love everything in this movie. The Happy Camper song, the camp atmosphere, how fun it is. Definitely not a PC movie, which is pretty cool because, it's just really out there and outrageous, but it's totally on PC. It's got nudity galore, beautiful women in the movie. The special effects are amazing. You got people getting their tongues cut out. These twins that get set on fire. Don't do drugs. There's a scene where this girl's like, "What are you gonna get now? A gun? No, a drill." And I love everything about it. The music, Angela, Pamela Springsteen, the direction, the pacing is very good. It's a very short-paced movie. The body count is insane because she pretty much kills everybody in this camp. The gore is on point. The special effects are on point. And even though I really love the first Sleepaway Camp, that's a really good movie as well. Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. I love that movie as well, but my favorite is part 2, man. It's just got an awesome poster. You have some cool homages to Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, and Jason Voorhees. That was pretty awesome. Yeah, I love Sleepaway Camp 2 on Happy Campers. So my number 3 is Sleepaway Camp 2. My number 2 is, I'm actually very proud of it being on this list because I love the first Prom Night. The first Prom Night is a classic. But when I seen Prom Night 2, which is my second favorite house film of all time, for good reasons, I'll explain. When I seen Prom Night 2 and how they created such a unique sequel that had a very unique and different plotline but still made it to where it was, it could still be called Prom Night, I love this sequel. I will never understand why this movie gets so much under the radar. It's so unheard of. The Prom Night sequels in general are just so rare and so unheard of, and it sucks because Prom Night 2 is my favorite of the films. I love the first one. The first one's classic, but my personal favorite has always been Prom Night 2. Because Mary Lou is such a good villain of the movie. She's so just demonic and evil and villainous. There's a lot of creepy stuff in this sequel. They have incest thing in there. They have this rocking horse, just those horse things that rock. It has a demonic face and a tongue and weird eyes. The death scenes are vicious. You have a scene where a girl gets crushed in the goop in a locker room. She gets crushed in the goop, and it's just holy shit. Mary Lou is this unstoppable villain. She's causing mayhem at the end of the movie. This prom scene. The characters are pretty fun. They're not bad at all. I like how they made the lead character get possessed, because usually when you have leads in these movies, they are the leads to the entire film, where here, the lead character gets possessed by Mary Lou. Very, very creative idea. And it's just a very well-filmed movie. I don't think it went to theaters, but it was well filmed and well acted. The special effects still hold up to me. It's creepy, it's unsettling, it's got gore, it's twisted and bonkers and crazy. I love Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou. I will never understand why it gets so hidden. It's not not a well-known horror film at all, and it's a shame because it's my favorite film of the series. And I like Prom Night 3: Last Kiss, but Prom Night 4 and the remakes suck. So number 2 is Prom Night 2. Number 1, however, is my favorite slasher movie, and I'll give reasons why, because people are going to say, like, what the fuck? This is my favorite slasher movie because it's the one that, to me, as a film, I think is extremely well made, and the story has a lot of depth to it, and the characters are very well written. My number 1 favorite slasher film is the classic Silent Night, Deadly Night. Naughty. Have you been good this year, or have you been naughty? I love that. That's so cool. Or other lines that he says too. I love this movie, man. This is such a well done horror film, and it is a slasher film, but it's also a well done horror film because the beginning of this movie is brutal, very brutal and very sad. You have our lead character, Billy Chapman. He is, and it's played by Robert Brian Wilson as an older version, but Billy as a kid, his mom and dad get murdered by this guy in a Santa Claus outfit. And his mom gets raped, and his dad gets killed, and the mom gets killed. The killer gets away with it, runs away. And through that whole scene, you have the sound of a baby crying, and there's a song playing, it's like saying, like, hush, little baby. It's just really creepy. And the music, the crying, you feel so bad for this character. And when he goes to this orphanage, he's being pretty much tortured. I mean, Mother Superior just is constantly disciplining him, and she's very strict on him. And as he grows up, he's still kind of messed up from what happened when he was a kid. And the awesome idea of just this guy going crazy in the Santa Claus outfit, killing people on a rampage, I think it's directed extremely well and filmed well. I know it was a very controversial film when it came out, but it's my favorite because it has just awesome scenes, great gore, you've got an awesome cast, you've got a great story and fleshed out characters, you've got an insane premise, how they actually had the balls to make a Christmas slasher film with a guy in a Santa Claus outfit. The kills are awesome. I think I already mentioned that, though. The poster is pretty awesome. I love everything about this movie. It's just an extremely well-made film, and it's my favorite slasher film of all time, because it's a quality horror film, and I really enjoy it. But, yeah, those are my top 10 favorite slasher films of all time. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed. What are your top 10 favorite slasher films? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Explorer of Horror is out. Peace out, guys. Thanks for watching.